Alright, hello everyone, my name is Timothy Lee Grant. So in the last project video I did, I was going through Docker and trying to figure out how to containerize my microservices. So I was able to get one microservice to actually work, and I took this producer resource, this microservice, and I put it, and I have its Docker file right here, and from this I was able to run it and build it, and from that I was able to ping it from my local host. So now what I'm going to try to do is expand that out into my other resources. The other thing that I want to see is I want to see if my Eureka, okay, well, my Eureka is not running right now. So what I want to do is, now how am I going to do that? So here's this. This is on my, I'm going to quit out of this. So I want to figure out how to quit out of a Docker. When I do the Docker run and have my image, or Docker run command, how do I stop it? Okay. So just Control C, and then okay. If I ran it in detach mode, I should be able to Docker PS and then Docker stop container ID. Okay, so I should be able to come here and just do Control C, and it should shut down everything. Now what I want to do is I want to come in here, I want to just run my registry. So I'm going to go into my registry, I'm going to run it the normal way. Spring boot run, okay. So I'm going to have my Eureka server run. Should be able to do this, and it is not there. That's awesome. There we go. Okay, cool. So no instances, which is what I expect. Then I'm going to come back into here, which is my Docker image. So now I should be able to do what? Docker run, and then that image ID. So I need Docker images, right? And I want this one right here. Okay. So I might be able to do Docker run and then this. See if that works. Okay. Alright, now I want to see if I refresh this, I get anything. No, so that means it did not register with the Eureka. Okay. Am I able to, like, ping it? No, I can't even ping it anymore. Okay, well, it was running. No, it's not anymore. That's cool. Well, okay. I would have been working like 1 hour ago. And now it just decided that, haha, it doesn't want to work anymore. Okay. There's a whole bunch of nonsense here. I'm going to copy and paste it. It's going to be to... Okay, let's just see what it does. I don't know. So, JavaNet, unknown host exception, Eureka server. So, means my application can't resolve the... Okay, so that should be in... whatever. Producer, source, main, resources, application, and then I changed it here to have this like Eureka server right there. And so that's, I think, what's causing the issue. But why am I unable to ping it? That's another thing. What if I just like... Okay. What would happen if I just got rid of this for a second? And just went like this, and then just like closed this out, okay? Oh, okay. And now do I actually need to, can I just do Docker run again? And does it automatically like compile everything, or I don't know. I have no idea. Let's just see if it did anything else. So no. If I make a change to my Spring Boot application, can I just run the Docker run command again and my changes be reflected? Why or why not? Okay. Now it's talking about networking as well. Oh my gosh, okay. Not quite, just running it. Okay. What you need to do instead is rebuild it. And then I can run it. Okay, so let me just try this. Come here, close this out, and then I do what? Docker build minus T. Docker build minus T. I don't know what T does. And then I'm the name. So this one is going to be called Producer Service. Okay, and then dot for the current directory. Okay, just try that. Okay, so now Docker images. Now I have this one right here. Okay, so now what I should be able to do is Docker run, although look, it says created 2 hours ago. I don't know about that. Docker run minus P, and then 8080 gets mapped to 8080, okay? And then I want to run producer service, okay? Okay. So let's see if this is registered with Eureka. Okay. When they're not on. So this should have just registered. Oh, but local. Oh, I see. I think I see. Maybe. I don't know. Actually, no, I don't see. Because it should have registered. So I am now able to ping an endpoint that is on my, or from my browser, or that is on my container, or in my container microservice from my browser, but it appears that it is not registering itself with my Eureka that is running on localhost. Okay, so docker.internal. No, it's not internal. If you're using Docker Compose, I'm not using Docker Compose yet. It still works, and this still does not work. So I might need to actually expose the port. Let me see. How can I expose multiple ports at the same time? I will need to expose port 8080 and port, what is it, 27017 for my Docker container. How do I run this? Okay, so I can do multiple ones with like 8080. So I just do multiple P's, okay? So I can do Docker run, and then minus P, I need 8080 mapped to 8080, and I need to map, what is it? 27017 gets mapped to 27017. Okay, so I'm gonna run this. Oh, Docker run here, and then the name of the image, producer service. Error response, ports are not available, exposing TCP. Already in use. The situation is that, what's this quick response? Think deeper, okay, whatever. The situation is that my Eureka server is running on my laptop, not in a container. It is running on localhost, whatever it is, like 27017. And now I am having a different microservice call that I now did put in a Docker container. It is called producer service, and I am able to ping one of my endpoints in this container, but it doesn't like that I am trying to communicate with, I'm so tired, with the Eureka server. Okay. So it's already in use. You're trying to do this. Well, yeah, it's already in use because the Eureka server is doing it. You don't need to expose from your container unless your container is running MongoDB. Well, no, it's not running MongoDB right now. And you want to access it from outside. Since your Eureka server is running on your host and not inside the container, just drop that part. But then it doesn't work. From inside the Docker refers to the, not your MacBook. So when your microservice, oh, okay. Let's first we need to do this. So let's copy this, and then I want to get rid of this one, okay, and then I want to introduce this one, okay. So host Docker internal, okay. Okay, so now I need to rebuild this, right? So I don't want to do Docker run, I want to do whatever that command was, like Docker build, I need to look it up here, like Docker build -t, Docker build, -t, and then producer service, and then dot. Okay, so we did that, and now I can do Docker run exposing port 8080 to map to 8080, and then I do producer service, okay, see if that works. first, let me try refreshing this, see if I get the endpoint, which I do. I come to Eureka, I come here, it's still... no. I changed it, but Eureka is still not seeing it. Okay, so your containerized microservice. Let's dig in deeper and pinpoint what's likely going on. What we know so far, Eureka server is running on MacBook local. Yeah, your producer service is running inside of a Docker container. You've updated, yeah, and you can ping the microservice from the browser. So far, that's correct. Eureka dashboard shows no registered. Yep. Likely culprit. Your Spring Boot app is configured to connect to MongoDB at here. But inside the container, localhost refers to container itself, not the MacBook. So your app is likely failing to start properly, okay? So I just need to do this for... okay, so it doesn't like this one. Well, multiple of them. So it doesn't like this. I need to replace it with this. Now, a question is, what's the difference between this one? Like, what is string URI used in? And what is this one used in? For right now, I'm just gonna replace both of them. It's not great, but let's just see. Okay, string URI, and I replaced this one. Okay. So now I just want to exit out of here, and then I just want to do those exact same commands over again. So it's going to be this one, build it. Okay, and now run it. Okay, can I ping? Yes, I can. Is this? I don't know. How to confirm that it's working. Verify app startups. If the app starts successfully, you should see like this. Refreshing the dashboard. I'm not seeing that, so no. How? 就是告诉我怎么做。傻逼。But I already did this, even though here, your log clearly shows that it's attempting. Okay, what this means, your container is likely using a cached or out-of-date config, the correct, how to fix it. Okay, so what does this do? Double check the active profile. What is an active profile? Make sure you're not accidentally using a different profile like dev docker test that overrides the Eureka URL. Check your Docker file or run command for something like this. Okay. Check. So if so, update the corrected or the correct profile configuration. Rebuild the Docker image. I've already done it. Verify the config. Okay. It's clean and efficient. Let's make sure it's is the config file? I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. That's not even what I wanted though. Clean. So like that. No dot. What's how? That looked a little bit better. Ha. Okay, so before I just say mission accomplished, we got it. What just happened? Let me come here and try to come here and okay, what did I just do? Then I did this one, right? I built it. Then I did that run command. Then I did docker run p8080 mapped to 8080 producer service. This fixed the error. Analyze and explain why this fixed the error and where I was going wrong. Try to identify the gaps in my knowledge so that I won't or so that I can understand the concept, so that I can understand the concepts. Okay. Okay, so we have this. Absolutely. Let's break down and pinpoint exactly what happened, why your fix worked, and what conceptual gaps were at play. You're clearly learning. Okay, that's just flattery. What was going wrong? You had updated your application properties to correctly point to the Eureka. Okay, so host Docker internal. That is, I'm going to my host machine, my Docker's internal URL or IP address, I guess. But your containerized app was still trying to reach this Eureka server. That meant the config wasn't reflected inside the running container, okay? Your app was likely using an old jar file and still had an out-of-date config bundled inside of it. Docker was building an image from the stale jar file, so even though your source code wasn't correct, your container didn't know it. Okay, so I changed the source code, but I didn't compile it and update the jar file. And so when I would rerun my image or build my image, or which one did I do? Hold on, let me check it. I would build my image, okay, but this built from an out-of-date jar file, and then when I ran my image, it was just running that out-of-date jar file. Okay. So this clean recompiled my Spring Boot app and created fresh jar files. Crucially, this jar now includes my updated application properties, which is where I changed the URL that it was trying to hit. Docker build -t service built a new Docker image using the updated jar. The Docker file copied the new jar into the container here, replacing the old one, okay? Docker run, right there. Ran the container with the new image now. Okay, cool. So, gaps in my knowledge. Spring Boot jar bundling. Spring Boot packages everything, including configuration files, everything, including the application properties, into the jar. If I make a change but don't rebuild the jar, my changes won't reflect in the app. Okay, always rebuild. Awesome. That makes sense now. I get that. Docker image layering. Docker builds images in layers. If I don't rebuild the image, after updating the jar, Docker will keep using the old one. Okay? Container versus network or host networking. So, networking is definitely something that it's one of my least favorite topics in software engineering, computer engineering, etc. I don't like networking. Alright, so inside a Docker container, localhost refers to the container itself, not your laptop, okay? You correctly switched to host Docker internal, but the change wasn't effective until jar was rebuilt. Okay? Understanding how networking works between containers and hosts. Okay, so bonus insight. Externalizing config. If you want to avoid rebuilding a jar every time you tweak config, you can externalize your config and mount it at runtime. This gives you more flexibility during development. Okay. Oh. Oh man. Okay. So what? Now, I mean, let's just try to do the same thing for the registry. Why not? So I have a Docker file, and that's going to fail. I already know that because, okay, so let me just close out of this one, okay? And then I want to close out of this one as well. So this one is now working. Okay, who are you? You are just a random terminal, that's fine. So now in my registry, I want to, I just want to rename you. I'm not going to use the terminal. You are now Docker file, okay. Now, this one I want Docker file here, okay. And I want to, first I need to actually get the jar file. So I'm going to do Maven. Actually, what if I didn't build the jar files? I'm going to purposefully not build them right now. So I am going to try to build a Docker image. So Docker build, okay, -t. I'm going to call this registry, reg serve, okay? It does not like that. Okay, so it failed to build. Now what I'm going to try to do is Maven, is it Maven W or Maven like that? So Maven, okay, Maven W, oh, clean, package, okay? Now we should see those jar files come up. I'm not explicitly seeing any jar files. There is jar files here, right? Oh, no? Wait, where'd the... Wait, wasn't it in like some Target or something? There it is. Okay, it's inside of Target. Okay, cool. So now I want to do this same thing. Now it should work, okay? So now I should be able to go Docker, what? Images, okay? And now I should see something called reg service right there. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so now what I want to do is run it. Docker run port, and I am exposing which port? 2000 or like 27,000 something. Where is my application properties? Is that right? Server port, I don't know. Okay, whatever. Okay, and then reg ser. And is it going to work? Okay. Can I see anything? No. Okay. 8761, which is what I think I put in there. Okay. Failed to set up a bean validation provider. Whatever. Now I am trying to move to containerize my Eureka microservice. How do you suggest I do this? List the steps out clearly. Okay. Do I have any? I don't have any water. Okay, that's good. Okay. So, containerizing my Eureka server is a smart move for consistency and scalability. Here's a clear step-by-step guide how to do that. Okay. So, build my Eureka. So, I already did that. Yep. Create a Docker file. Okay. So, it has a Docker file here. Working directory. Seems to be more or less the same. I did this, run, okay. And then why did that? My brightness just changed. I was like, what? I think I lost charging or something. I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna take that out for a second. It's like just hanging in there. Okay, there we go. So, update other services. And we're not doing Docker Compose yet. Once I get both of them running, then I'm going to try to do Docker Compose. Right now I can't even ping it though, so I'm going to paste that in here. So Eureka server container is up to date and running beautifully there. Okay. However, I noticed a small hiccup in Docker run command. Oh, did I just map my wrong ports? That's ridiculous. Why would I do such a silly thing? Well, yeah, that's not great. 87. Right? That's what I want, right? 8761. 8761. Okay. Come here, do that. I saw something that said couldn't be found. I didn't like that. Didn't like the way that that looked at me. Okay, but I do like the way that looks at me. Then, what if I come here? And now I might need to change my things again. Possibly. But I'm just going to try it and do this one. Okay. Okay. We come here and refresh this. Yes. 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 What do we do now? we immediately come and save. That's what we do. Git add, git commit. Then what do? I say successfully added containerization to the registry service. Now both producer and Eureka server are in Docker containers. I verified that the producer is able to register with the Eureka server. Git push origin main go. Ding ding ding, we have a save point. Okay, well, now what do we want to do next? We'll have to do the same thing for this consumer, and we'll also need to do the same thing for this front end. But you know what I think I might want to do? Take a break and do it tomorrow. That will also give me a little bit of an opportunity to let these ideas and concepts settle in my head, and I think it'll be kind of good for learning purposes for me to have a little bit of learn and forget, right? I will definitely lose a little bit of context coming back in whatever, like 12 hours. I'll need to refresh and I'll need to remember some of this stuff that I was doing in this. I'm kind of in the zone right now, but that learn and forget will hopefully reinforce a lot of the concepts with Docker and make me a better user of Docker. So if that is interesting to you and you want to join me along on this journey of developing skills to become a back-end software engineer, I would love to have you along. So feel free to subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Timothy Lee Grant, and I will see you guys very soon in another video.